Salute, salute. So we got breaking news, y'all. Charlie Kirk has been shot at an event in Utah, guys. You know what I'm saying? They saying that he was shot in the neck, and they have most definitely caught a suspect, y'all. They got the FBI and everybody else that you can think of on the case, man. This just happened. Let's check it out.
In custody, and police are investigating. Let's go to Justice correspondent Scott McFarland now. Scott, what are you learning?
This was a publicly advertised event by this conservative media icon, Charlie Kirk. It began at 2 p.m. on the East Coast, 12 p.m. local time in Utah. A public speech in front of a large crowd at Utah Valley University, an enormous school in central Utah. The FBI director, Kash Patel, has issued a statement saying, "We're closely monitoring reports of the tragic shooting involving Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University." The governor of Utah, Spencer Cox, says, "I'm being briefed by law enforcement following the violence directed at Charlie Kirk during his visit to Utah Valley University today." The law enforcement presence there is likely to include the FBI, and Utah Valley University has a police force, so does the community of Orrin, Utah. But at this point, we're going to lean on what the FBI and governor are saying, that this is a violent act that involved Charlie Kirk. His remarks have ended as the violence broke out there in Orrin, Utah. Maurice.
Scott, best you can tell at this point, obviously very early in the investigation and the situation, but it appears single gunman, single shot. Is that correct?
Well, the videos that are coming in, which we are working with our CBS News team, confirmed team to verify, have sounds consistent with gunshots, but we're going to leave that until we get further confirmation of the videos coming in. This is a rally of sorts. Everybody there seemingly would have some phone. There's video, there's audio. In fact, to get into this event today, you had to acknowledge that the videos of you would be usable for Charlie Kirk and his team. This is a heavily photographed event, but we'll be cautious right now with the videos we see coming in voluminously from sources at the scene.
Okay, Scott McFarland, thank you. And it does not appear at this point that anyone else has been hurt, again, as best we can tell. We do have video that has come into our newsroom. This is the event in Utah. Kirk speaking, a shot is heard, and then we stop the video here before he is struck, and he falls out of sight, and the people who took this video scrambled to get away to some kind of safety. Obviously, a lot of panic, a lot of fear, and people trying to just get out of there once this shooting went down. Our senior White House and political correspondent, Ed O'Keefe. Ed, what are you learning this afternoon? And if not, what do you know? We can put some context into Charlie Kirk's status as a conservative political activist.
Yeah, let's do that first, Maurice, because I think there may be many people watching right now wondering, why would we interrupt to share this information? Charlie Kirk is a 31-year-old originally from the Chicago suburbs, an incredibly influential figure in conservative politics. Bottom line this for you, to give you a sense of how
that screen, y'all. Get the likes up.
He was meeting last fall during the presidential transition with President Trump to pick cabinet nominees. He's a close friend of Donald Trump Jr., who was among those pushing the now president to pick J.D. Vance as his running mate. He flew with the vice president to Greenland when the administration was making that an issue earlier this year. And he's someone who has helped rally tens of thousands, if not millions, of younger conservative voters in this country to the Republican cause. This gathering that was being held here at the university in Utah includes what's called a prove me wrong table, where he sits there, as you see in this video, and in essence tries to debate issues with people who disagree with him. It's become a popular production or popular element of his social media work, and part of what draws younger people to these events is to watch him sort of refute or push back on issues or topics that he may have a disagreement with the person, but all meant to spark conversation and make people think. This is video, as we understand it, that was shot earlier today at the beginning of this event, and this was the kickoff for it. Now, there was reporting in recent days in Utah about concern among students at this university about having Kirk hold this event on the campus for what he calls the American Comeback Tour. This was
so reports are saying that they didn't want him there anyway, guys.
Thousands of students
they signed a whole petition for him not to come.
They bar Kirk from holding this event, and he spoke about it with the Utah Republican Senator Mike Lee on Kirk's podcast last week, where they said, you know, find it interesting that there's such opposition, but Lee encouraged him to go. So he's a controversial figure to those not in the conservative movement who disagree strongly with his views and those of President Trump, but an incredibly popular and essential figure in the Trump movement in recent years, and someone who virtually all Republican leaders would point to as someone who has brought new support, especially among younger male voters, to the Trump campaign and continue to back that coalition, Maurice.
Yeah, Ed, and speaking of which, Charlie Kirk, 31 years old. President Trump responding and reacting on social media. Here are his words. We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot. A great guy from top to bottom, the president says. God bless him. Ed, when you go to a Charlie Kirk event, I don't know if you have, we're talking about thousands of people, like a rock star.
Yes, and this was, again, the start of what he calls the American Comeback Tour, was designed to draw thousands of young people to the event, as you see here, again, in this footage that we understand is from earlier today as it was beginning. He is very popular with younger men in this country, with college-aged voters, college-aged people, because of the popularity of his podcast and his other social media work. Turning Point USA is considered the largest conservative youth movement in this country. Holds conferences on a fairly regular basis that draw all the top names in Republican politics, be it the president, the vice president, on down. Those that would like to be president one day understand they have to be cultivating this organization in order to expect future support. So there will be widespread concern and acclaim for his work among Republican leadership up and down a ballot, and grave concern across the country among those who are supporters of the president and others in the conservative movement, because they understand that he has been such a rock star, a galvanizing force, someone who's brought people together. Maurice, we should also convey the president now speaking out here on Truth Social. Some of our colleagues were up in the West Wing when this news broke out across social media, and White House officials learned of it just as we did, in essence, and headed into closed-door meetings to sort out how exactly to respond. But all of those people, to give you a sense of his influence, know him, would have worked with him, and very well may be in the jobs they're in today, Maurice, because Kirk at one point or another would have said to Donald Trump, that's someone worthy
but it was a whole
of continuing to work alongside
that
you at
was
the White
put
House.
out for him not to be in Utah, guys, speaking at this college.
Situation.
But he went
Let's
anyway.
take a look at the video here one more time. You saw Kirk
yeah, man.
at the beginning of
this
the event.
This is the video of him getting
is
popped.
The moment he's actually shot. There he is sitting on a stage. This is at Utah Valley University just a short time ago this afternoon. A single shot was fired. We're freezing the video here because of the disturbing nature of it all, but he is shot once, the shirt ripples, and he falls off to the right of our screen there.
He got hit in the neck, guys.
They are obviously terrified and start running to get out of there. So again, Charlie Kirk, 31 years old, a conservative political activist, shot there at Utah Valley University a short time ago. This having a ripple effect throughout the political world as we speak. I want to bring in CBS News Chief Washington analyst Robert Costa. Bob, yet another political act of violence here in our country. This was not common for a long time, and now it
this is everything they know, guys. Breaking
news. Good to be
news.
with you. A tragic
Charlie
incident
Kirk
today in
shot
Utah.
In the neck
I
in
have
Utah,
covered
guys.
Charlie Kirk for a long time. Have spoken to him at so many political events over the years. This is someone who has galvanized conservatives across the country. He is seen as someone who is really able to gather the Trump movement, especially those under 30, and make them into a force. Now, there have been growing concerns on both right and left in recent years about this outbreak of political violence at so many events. There is that specter that hovers over so much. And what you're seeing in this incident is such a sense still of shock and surprise among those there.
Continue to double tap that screen, guys. Get the likes up over 100.
In broad daylight at one of these events. What's notable about Charlie Kirk and why this stuns so many is not just for the brazen act of violence we are witnessing here today, but that Charlie Kirk is someone who is very close to the president of the United States, Donald Trump. He is counted on as a confidant. Now, there is a huge generational gap between Charlie Kirk and President Trump. And some who might not follow politics incrementally might say, how does someone so youthful, so young, who seems to be an activist, maybe with a media profile, how does he become so close? Well, Charlie Kirk during President Trump's political winter from 2021 through 2024 stood by him while Trump was facing criminal trials in New York,
Trump supporter,
scrutiny from the Justice Department. He was there. He's a key figure in American politics, not just in the past decade where he's become this youth leader, but he's a key figure right now in American politics, close to Vice President Vance, close to President Trump, someone who helped rebuild the Trump movement, the Trump political campaign when it was at its lowest moment in the wake of January 6, 2021 and President Biden's victory in the 2020 election. And if you've been with Charlie Kirk, and I have covered him at length, I covered the conservative movement for nearly 20 years. He is popular for a lot of reasons, but in particular for the way he's able to debate and articulate his points. He is seen as this major presence on campuses who can go after those who are center or left of center or further left and really counter them with conservative points that people find powerful and potent and not just usual political pablum. He's also someone who, in the media, can be both a podcast force, a television force on cable, can have these huge events with thousands of people, and this is why I'm just getting so many text messages right now, Maurice. It's a shocking moment in the country to have a political figure shot in this way, but really for those who know him on the right, it is taking their breath away as they wait for more details.
It really is a shock to the system. Robert Costa, thank you so much for the insight. Now, in a statement, the university said a single shot was fired on campus toward Kirk, and a suspect is now in custody. That is coming from Utah Valley University, where Charlie Kirk was shot a short time ago. Joining us now is CBS News national security contributor Samantha Vinograd. Now, Sam, what about security at an event like this? What would you know about the setup there and the kind of security that would follow a Charlie Kirk around the country?
Well, Maurice, it is entirely possible that Charlie Kirk has his own personal security based upon the level of his notoriety and the very public events that he holds all across the country. Because Charlie Kirk is not an elected official, he does not have access to, example, Secret Service like politicians and White House officials.
Wow.
At the same time,
they have captured a suspect, though,
in place would have worked most likely with the event organizers to try to set up some sort of screening for participants, as well as potentially some sort of secure perimeter. However, it doesn't appear that individuals were screened for weapons prior to entering the event. And so certainly there has to be scrutiny of what security measures were put in place by the university. Charlie Kirk is a very public figure. This event was well publicized, well planned. So from an operational security perspective, any bad actor who was looking to inflict harm knew where Charlie Kirk was going to be.
Up, y'all.
And likely knew that campus security was going to be in charge of the event overall, not the U.S. Secret Service, not the U.S. Marshals, and others.
Okay.
Crazy, y'all.
I missed it if you said it, but if you just wanted to clear it up for me here, security at this event or an event like this, would it include screening? Would people be able to just walk in with the arms swinging with weapons on them, or are they patted down? Are there metal detectors? What do you know about that?
So when these kinds of events are held on college campuses, on university campuses, very often, Maurice, it is up to the campus itself to determine what kind of security measures are in place. So we actually don't know yet whether this college campus did implement any kind of screening for participants, whether there were metal detectors, whether there were pat-downs, and whether and where there was.
Like I said, people had already started a petition for Kirk not to speak at this event in Utah, guys. They did not want him there on that campus. The students started a petition, but he came anyway, and this is what wound up happening.
One would have thought that there would have been some kind of screening for participants prior to the event unfolding.
Most certainly, and in this climate that we're now living in.
Cut up, girl. Say he is very disrespectful.
Forward, Sam Vinograd, thank you. I want to bring in Raydon Dashid. She was at the event right now. She saw the attack. She's on the phone. Raydon, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. If you could tell us where you were, what you saw, what happened.
Continue to work on that like, guys. Double tap that screen or click the three dots, hit the thumbs up.
Tent set up for where Charlie was going to be. And then they had like the cattle grade set up. It was a walkway for the people that were going to debate him. And then I was the grate right behind it. So I was right by the walkway. So I was right up front.
And then what happened? When the actual shot was fired, where were you? What did you see or hear?
So I was, he was just talking to the second debater. And ironically, it was about the transgender shooter. And, you know, they're talking about, you know, not allowing them to purchase firearms. And he was talking back and forth with the guy. And then all of a sudden I hear a pop. I see Charlie. I think it got his carotid. I just saw him grab. It looked like his neck.
This is the witness that was
and
there.
There was just blood pouring out everywhere, and his eyes kind of rolled back. And at that point, I kind of looked up because it sounded like it came up from behind me, up the hill, and it was just one pop. And then we all dropped to the ground. And then they told us all to run.
He was hit by one pop, guys.
Yeah, I'm imagining pandemonium.
While he was talking
at that
about
point. Did you see medical personnel attend to him, and what happened after that?
At the church.
Yeah, by the time I looked up, he was
in
already
Minnesota,
out.
guys.
He was already out. He was already out of the tent. There were some police officers up there. There was his security. There was no metal detectors or anything for us to go through. They didn't even check our tickets.
metal detectors.
What about the gunman? Any sense of what became of the person? I don't know if it's a man or woman. The person who fired the shot.
Nope, I didn't see
Prayers
anything.
up for Charlie, guys.
Continue
to double tap that screen. Get the likes up.
So you described it as a debate that was going on. So it was a debate between Charlie and someone else, or just a sort of a...
Yeah, so he just proved me wrong. And basically, you know, because he's a right-winger. And, you know, he's very, very, very good at his debates. And he invites mostly college kids to go up and debate him. And, you know, a lot of them were, you know, had a lot of the same views, but there was something that may be a little bit off that they don't quite agree with. So they're just trying to, you know, debate him back and forth on their views versus his.
So it sounds like people from all points on the political spectrum. What about the atmosphere, the mood? What was it like leading up to that?
Oh, man, we were all having fun. We were shouting, you know, USA and Charlie Kirk and listening to some, you know, 80s music like Queen and that, and just stuff to pump you up. We're just all having a good time.
Yeah, like a festival kind of atmosphere. I want to ask you about security. What was that like as you entered this area? And what kind of area
There were no metal detectors, guys.
There was none. It was like, so when you walked in there, it was like in the crevice of the buildings with a bridge across it, and then behind it was like a grassy open area with a little bit of sitting that's kind of in the stadium seating. But it was like a little hill. And
this is on the campus of Utah Valley University.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Are you a student there, or do you have an affiliation with the university?
No, I'm old. You know, I'm in my 50s, so a lot of these people were college-age students, but there was quite a few, actually, I would say, that were around my age, too.
Yeah. And where did you get out? You ran out of there. Where'd you go, and what did everybody else do who was with you?
We all just ran to our vehicles, and I don't know where everybody's scattered. I don't know if, you know, some of them were students that, you know, had to catch a bus or whatever. But the ones that have cars, we all ran to our cars.
All right, we get more information in as we speak, guys. It says a spokesperson for Utah University said in a statement that the suspect shot Kirk from a university loose center, a building roughly 200 feet away from where he was sitting, guys. So he got hit from 200 feet from where he was sitting at, from a building adjacent to where he was speaking, guys.
It's come to a point where it seems like that's going to be necessary, mandatory going forward.
Yeah, but I think as Radon so expertly described it, this is meant to be sort of a public gathering in a public square kind of event, right? That this kind of violence wouldn't necessarily happen.
The suspect was not a student, guys.
The prove me wrong.
The suspect was not a student.
People come up, they raise an issue with him, they debate it for a few minutes, and the crowd watches and enjoys the exchange, as raucous or policy driven as it may end up being in that moment. Maurice, we're obviously, given that Kirk is a character and a leader and a creature of the digital space, it is no surprise that we're seeing pretty swift reaction from all sides. We heard from the president, of course, asking for prayers, the vice president, the defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, whose nomination was buoyed by support from Kirk and his movement. But we're also hearing very quickly from Democratic leaders, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who hosted Kirk on his own podcast earlier this year. Very quickly,
Kirk is in critical
moments after this
condition,
happened,
y'all.
on X said that
He's
the
in
attack
critical
is
condition.
disgusting,
Prayers
vile, and
up.
reprehensible in the United States of America. We must reject political violence in every form. Hakeem Jeffries, who of course is the House Democratic leader, very quickly saying political violence is never acceptable. My thoughts and prayers are with Charlie Kirk and his family. And notably, Gabrielle Giffords, the former Arizona Democratic Congresswoman, herself a survivor of an assassination attempt and an advocate for stricter gun laws in this country, said she's horrified to hear that Charlie Kirk was shot at an event in Utah. Democratic societies will always have political disagreements, but we must
Prayers
never
for
allow
him and
America
his family,
to become a
guys.
country that
He has
confronts those
been listed
disagreements
in
with
critical
violence, something she
condition.
obviously would know very well. So the reaction will continue to pour in. But again, I think the eyewitness there described very well what it is that Kirk has been doing for years now in person with like-minded conservatives and those that want to take him on, and how he uses those events to buoy what he does online. He also hosts a radio
Prayers
show.
for Charlie, guys.
And is, again, a pretty frequent collaborator and ally of the president and those in his administration.
Yeah, excellent points there, Ed O'Keefe. Thank you. I want to bring back Robert Costa. And Bob, you sit here and we're talking about another political
As of
shooting
6 minutes ago,
in
guys,
America.
he was
You just
listed
can't
in
help but wonder,
critical
how did we get here?
condition. He needs
What is
all the
going
prayers
on?
he can
On
get,
one
guys.
hand, there's an event where it's debate me. They're
Continue to
debating
double
the
tap that
issues
screen. That's
in a
how you hit the
civilized
like
fashion,
button,
back and
guys.
forth.
That's how you hit
And
the
then you have
like.
this. What
Hit the
has happened
likes
here?
up.
Maurice, it's
Click those 3 dots and hit that thumbs up button, man. You know what I'm saying? Click the 3 dots to hit the thumbs up. That's how you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you new. Big time MAGA supporter, Charlie Kirk, shot in Utah, guys. In the neck. He is labeled in critical condition, guys. Prayers up for him and his family. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Most definitely double tap that screen if you're on a mobile device, or click those 3 dots. That's how you hit the like button. It helps out the channel. Breaking news.
he is also someone who has espoused conservative views across the board, and he is proud of those views. He does not in any way take a back seat to participating in the public debate. He welcomes debate. He goes to campus after campus, has event after event. I have covered some of
Shout out
his
to Vic for
Turning
that
Point
dollar.
USA
Appreciate
events,
you.
and they, in many ways, echo Trump rallies. And they cover the full spectrum of issues that have become important to the Trump movement and to the conservative movement that Charlie Kirk has long counted himself a part of. And those include cultural issues. That includes foreign policy. He has spoken out about what is going on in Europe with Russia's war against Ukraine. He has spoken out about different cultural debates in this country. He has spoken out about President Trump and all of the challenges he has faced politically and legally. So if you don't know Charlie Kirk, understand this is someone who is in the trenches and enjoys being in the trenches. Whether someone does not like Mr. Kirk and his views or loves Mr. Kirk and his views, I have seen Charlie Kirk up close so many times have fun with the process. He has called himself a happy warrior who embraces the idea of a political fight. But a political fight in no way means violence. It means
Kirk
a healthy
is in critical
debate.
condition,
And
guys,
this is
as
someone,
of
though,
6
who has
minutes
been
ago.
in the arena. And some people in this day and age retreat from the arena, worried about violence, criticism. Kirk is
Sad,
someone
y'all,
I've covered
sad.
again and again, go right into that arena, whether it be in an arena or a college campus, and say, let's have the debate, let's have the discussion. And that's why he has so many admirers on the right, inside the Republican Party. They see him as a rising star. And it's notable to me that even within the past 5 or 6 months, I was having conversations with top Republicans who said Charlie Kirk, down the line, among other names, is someone they considered a future presidential candidate. He was seen as someone who had a real political future, whether it was running for elective office or being a political activist, maybe working in the administration at some point. But he has always said to his allies and friends, he likes being on the outside. He likes being on these campuses, having the direct back and forth. And he was shot today doing what he loves the most, which is engage with people in a roaring debate in a rally setting.
And some of those cultural issues, including a quote like this one from Charlie Kirk.
Man,
what is
that's
going on with
crazy,
women
y'all.
and not wanting to prioritize family. And, a quick search will show you that he is seen as one who wants women to have babies and work less. Things like that. He relished that kind of thing, being a provocateur, getting people to think and debate. And that's probably what he was engaged in right there, Bob.
Some people liked him, some
I think
people
about
didn't.
his family. I know
But
many
it's
of Kirk's
sad,
friends
man.
in text
Anytime
message right now
anything
are
like this
talking
happens,
about his
guys,
family
continue to
more
get
than his
those likes
political
up.
views. He has a young family. He has spoken openly at recent public events about how much getting married and becoming a father has meant to him as a man in a younger part of his life. And this is something that has political seismic impact because of his high
This is
profile
where he was located
and his
at, guys.
association with the president of the United States. But let it also not be forgotten that even as he had all of these positions, many of them seen as controversial on different issues, he had a huge galaxy of support on America's right.
And the suspect
center
is
right.
not a college student, guys. It's not a college student.
And has always been seen as someone who is dynamic and really out there, willing to engage in political battle. But you see today, just across the American political spectrum, shock and the president of the United States weighing in quickly. So many Republican politicians now on social media doing the same. It's a moment, a crossroads where everyone's not really sure what's the next turn.
Yeah, disturbing video.
They're
right
saying
there,
that the
Bob, as we
suspect
watch
is an
Charlie
older
Kirk
man,
getting
guys.
shot this afternoon at Utah Valley University.
The suspect is an older man, guys. That's what they're saying right now. An older guy. Somebody that's not a student.
Let's go to
was
Justice
responsible.
Correspondent Scott McFarland. Scott, you learning anything new right now about the investigation?
Yeah, let's start off. The FBI is now on the ground. Their Salt Lake City field office has 17 resident agents around that area, and they're there helping lead this investigation. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. This is customary, as is always the case in these types of shootings, where there is a potential fatality or a grievous injury. They respond to the scene as well. The campus is closed. That's no surprise. It's a huge campus, a sweeping part of central Utah. Tens of thousands of students. They've closed that campus, and we know we've got reports of people seeing images of somebody being handcuffed on site near the site of this shooting today. A person being handcuffed, and there is a university alert to students that somebody is in custody, but we haven't gotten that from police yet. You have so many images, including the ones you're seeing right now, that have all these parallels. The type of sunny day, the red hats in the crowd, so many parallels to the images you saw last July from Butler, Pennsylvania.
Charlie Kirk is in critical condition, guys.
Down to the stage. There's obviously going to be some concern. We're hearing it articulated already about the metastasizing violence against people who are in the political space, people who do political speeches, people who are in politics. It's noteworthy, I think, Maurice, that today was jury selection for the man in Florida charged in the second alleged assassination attempt against President Trump last year.
Wow, guys, wow.
This is going to raise concerns about more violence, more political threats in an already toxic moment.
Concerns across the board, Scott. Vice President J.D. Vance posting on X just a short time ago, "Dear God, protect Charlie in his darkest hour." I believe we also have a statement from the university, the Utah Valley University. Here it is. Today at about 12:10, a shot was fired at the visiting speaker, Charlie Kirk. He was hit and taken from the location by his security. Campus police is investigating. A suspect is in custody. Notably, there's no word on Charlie Kirk's condition. Sam Vinograd, we talked a little bit earlier about security, and we had a witness who told us right here on the air that there was none. They simply had the place open at the university. People walked in, as apparently they normally do, and sat down for this event. What are you hearing about security going forward, or at least since then?
Click those three dots, hit that thumbs up, y'all. That's how you support the channel. That's how you hit the like button. If you're on a mobile device, double tap that screen. This is everything we know. Charlie Kirk in critical condition after being shot in the neck by an older suspect that they have captured. And basically, you know, he needs all the prayers he can get.
What happened and working to ensure that this is an isolated threat. Law enforcement and intelligence officials have been warning for years that the biggest threat, terrorism-related threat facing this country, comes from what we call lone actors, individuals who radicalize and mobilize to violence alone. We understand from various public statements that one suspect is in custody, which does lead us to believe that a lone actor may have been the perpetrator. But at this time, state and local law enforcement will be working.
Hold on, let's check out some other media and see if they're showing the suspect yet. I'm pretty sure they are. Hold on, let me pull this up real quick. Hold on, guys. Give me half a second to pull this up. It's crazy, y'all.
We're like 15 or 20 minutes away, and so generally everyone in the bowl.
This is a witness from the scene.
That seemed really excited for him to be there.
Have you ever spoken to Charlie Kirk? Because he does go to these campuses. He's in the news a lot. He's a commentator on all of these sorts of things. Have you ever had
breaking news, guys?
Have you ever spoken to Charlie Kirk yourself?
So I have not personally, but my friend and colleague Brigham Tomko just recently went down into the profile of him in Florida. So he's had good correspondence with Charlie, and he just had praises to sing about him and how much he loved God and his family.
And obviously, the rise to popularity, to prominence for Charlie Kirk was very quick. Can you describe that at all? If people aren't aware of who Charlie Kirk is, what he stands for, what he's about, can you describe that for our audience here?
He's in critical condition,
Kirk,
I told
is
y'all.
The founder of TPUSA, which is a college conservative group. He has been doing these debates for a long time now, and he just really speaks to traditional conservative values. He's very pro-family. He's very pro-faith. He's very public about his
Miss Fat say he's an old man. I don't know what he was
Christian,
thinking.
evangelical.
This is a witness.
And yeah, he's been kind of an icon for college students, especially here at UVU.
Yeah, and obviously speaking to the kind of the youth movement, that was a big point of President Trump's win in November to get back the White House. I want to ask you, have you spoken to any witnesses? I imagine everyone is fleeing at the same time. You may have gone to the same classroom as people, students, otherwise there. What are they thinking? What are their sentiment right now?
There was a lot of fear among the students, especially the younger girls who I talked to. I got some videos from students that they had taken on their own phones, and you can see people just cowering. A lot of fear, but then there also just seems to be there was a lot of patriotism before, so.
They got the military and everybody out there, y'all.
It was very positive beforehand and very somber afterwards.
Yeah, and as a reporter there on the
Can we
ground,
get the lights to 300, guys? Double tap that screen. Or click those three dots, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new.
Reaction, fallout from this. When you think of what comes next and what you want to ask of authorities, because I imagine there's going to be a press conference, you will likely be present for that. What do you want to know?
Well, first of all, I think it's very important to know who shot Charlie Kirk. What is his history? Has he been arrested before? If he has been arrested before, why was he able to come? So a lot of questions around the shooter himself or herself, whoever it was.
This is an eyewitness account, guys.
Aside from that, just also what universities are going to do moving forward for events like this. I think it's really important to have debate with conservatives and across the whole political aisle. So moving forward, what is that going to look like?
Yeah, and then I just thought of that question about that security on hand. Did you see police officers? Was there a security presence at this event at all? I imagine, obviously, he's just a commentator, he's not necessarily a lawmaker, wasn't voted into office in some sort of way, which would have potentially protection. Was there security around?
Right, so Emma, the other reporters here for Deseret News, Emma Pitts and we both had tickets, but there was no one checking tickets. There were no metal detectors. We came in, all the students had their backpacks, bags. There was no vetting or anything as we were going into the event. We did see police officers on campus. We also saw Charlie Kirk had a team of a few security guards with him. They had
prayers up for Charlie Kirk, guys. Prayers up. He is in critical condition.
But, I don't remember seeing any police officers in the audience or surrounding.
All right, very good. Eva, I know you got to get back to work. You are on the ground there. I can only imagine what's going through your head, your heart rate at this
Heavy
moment.
police presence, guys.
Safe. Thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now.
That appears to be the SWAT team.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. All right, great conversation there as always, as we were just speaking with a reporter from the Deseret News, Eva Terry, on the ground as well, with other reporters on hand for this, including her colleague Emma Pitts there on campus. So let's just continue following. We see this security there as well. Plenty of SWAT teams now arriving at it. And I do want to put up just more social media reaction, including coming in from the wife of Charlie Kirk here on social media.
Charlie Kirk's wife has spoken.
Erica Kirk, reciting a part of the Bible, line there saying, Psalm 46, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. So as you can only imagine what's going through their mind at this time, posting this here on social media. So we're following it very closely. We're also hearing, like we said, different reports coming in about whether or not a shooter is in custody right now. But the latest check from UVU, they're saying the campus is closed, classes canceled, those on campus secure in a place until police officers can escort you safely off campus. We've seen some students
this is live, guys,
on their heads, leaving it here.
And as I told y'all earlier, the students at the school has started a petition for Charlie not to speak there, guys. Now, hold on, let's hear this eyewitness.
On experience ever again, you know, it's just terrible.
Make it your name, sir.
It's Luke Kimmel. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Luke, very much. So we've heard more here just now from the members of the UVU base.
All right, you're just listening in there to different members of that community in Orem, Utah. And if you're familiar with the location, it is just down.
So as I was saying, the students there had signed a petition for Charlie not to speak at their school. It is said that he was shot from a building that was like 200 feet from where he was speaking, guys. And basically, one loud pop was heard. He was shot in the neck, and he is now in critical condition, guys. They said he fell over immediately and was rushed to the hospital in critical conditions. Prayers for his family. We seen they just put on something on the screen that his wife said. This is a very sad situation. Whether you like the guy or not, you know, it's always sad when there's potential of a loss of a human life, y'all. Crazy, y'all, crazy. This took place in Utah.
Deseret News on the ground for it, saying there was no metal detectors. There wasn't really any security present for this event. That will likely change in the future for different political commentators coming to different campuses. So obviously, just following that very closely. I do want to take you out to some more witness sound that we heard from just mere moments ago here, just to give you a sense of the scene. Again, very dynamic and fluid at this point.
They saying now that on this, which is live, they saying suspect not in custody.
What's going on there on campus?
They said, I was getting reports that he was in custody, but this says suspect is not in custody.
Some of the kind of outcome of all of this right now, reporting AP is
so maybe the older guy wasn't actually the shooter, guys, because as of this live coverage, it says that the shooter is not in custody.
Well, I can tell you that us standing in the question line, there were a bunch of different people with a bunch of different people. We were all talking to each other. I was helping a person of a different viewpoint actually role play to ask Charlie Kirk a question. And we were all laughing, joking, sharing, asking each other, what's your question? What's your question? And all the shooter did today is take the ability for us to come together and share different discussions, and they completely took that away from us. And anybody that has any idea of doing something like this in the future, that is all you're doing is taking away our ability as Americans. Myself as a veteran, I love situations like this where different people can come together with different viewpoints, and all you did was strip that ability for us to talk and have discourse and share ideas with each other. You stripped that away from us and just drove us further apart.
What did you see when you were in line and the shooting happened? Kind of describe that.
We were all watching Charlie. The first question was a question about LDS, which, of course, you know, typical Utah, right? Oddly enough, the very second question that was asked when it happened had to do with transgender shooters, right? And I'm not saying that the shooter was transgender. I have no idea, and I don't think it's right for anybody to speculate as to whether or not that shooter was transgender. a question about shooters and transgender. And the fact of the matter is that the shooter has issues. It's not whether or not they're transgender. It's not whether or not they're white, black, yellow, orange, green, like guys, like girls. What matters is the fact that this person has issues, that they feel murder is the way to resolve those issues.
Listening in there, talking about the exact question, talking about shooters and active shooter
Man, there are
situation.
police everywhere.
Charlie Kirk there on the campus at UVU as that single shot rang out, striking the conservative commentator in the neck. And we are so monitoring what condition he is in right now. Critical last check, and at last check also a suspect.
A heavy police presence, guys. We see cop cars everywhere.
Here live now from Fox and different lawmakers responding. This is a live picture right now there in Washington, D.C. We could get some comments from Speaker Mike Johnson here in just a little bit. We'll keep an eye on that. Until then, well, let's bring in right now Deseret News reporter on Capitol Hill, Cami Mondo. Thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. We just spoke with your colleague on the ground in Orem, Utah. What's the scene? What's the feeling right now in Washington, D.C.? I understand there was a moment of silence, a prayer on the House floor. What can you tell us?
Right. Ever since this happened and the news broke, this has been one of those moments where I think I've seen the most people react so quickly. You're seeing reactions from both Republicans and Democrats just decrying and condemning this incident all around the place. You're seeing Republicans who are urging prayer for Charlie Kirk. His condition is not known, and House Speaker Johnson, like you just said, just held a moment of silence and prayer on the House floor. Everybody across the room, Republicans and Democrats, including reporters and even just guests, took a moment and stood up for this moment. But as of right now, the details are not really known, but it's clear that this is a very somber moment.
Yeah, obviously very somber moment. We potentially could hear Speaker Mike Johnson there at the microphone provide an update. Can you talk to us about how close some of these lawmakers are to Charlie Kirk, his influence on them or the other way around? How important, how much is Charlie Kirk moving the movement in the
sad, y'all, sad. Let's get those likes up. Click those three dots, hit the thumbs up, man. Breaking news on Charlie Kirk, guys.
But he is very close friends with a lot of lawmakers. Senator Mike Lee from Utah, just spoke with him over the weekend, actually, was on a guest on his podcast. You see a lot of Republicans who speak with him, whether it's on his podcast or they do events with him. And so there is like a sense of sadness, obviously, from these Republicans, but even some of them are a little bit angry, it seems, that, this political violence that's affecting, one of their friends. And so I've seen a lot of staffers who have also been really upset about the news. And so it's really just touching pretty much everybody on Capitol Hill right now.
Yeah, we talk about that quite a bit, especially after the two attempted assassinations of then candidate Donald Trump. The temperature continues to be raised in that way, and not necessarily a good one. Is that the sentiment from lawmakers about that concern over political tension and political violence?
Absolutely. The comments that we got from Speaker Johnson just briefly going into the House chamber is that, he was kind of lamenting that this scene of political violence that, as you've said, has become all too common. It's something that he says this country just shouldn't be known for. This isn't who we are, and that we really need to find a turning point where this no longer is the case and something that, we're no longer just accustomed to. And so that's definitely something that I'm sure will even be part of the conversations moving forward. Everyone is just really excited. I'm sure you'll see a lot more as this news kind of settles in and we know how Charlie Kirk is doing.
Yeah, that is so very true. I want to continue to get your reaction because we're hearing from President Trump on Truth Social saying that we must pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot.
Trump has spoken, guys. Trump has spoken.
We're also hearing from the New York Post reporting that they spoke with Trump, asking about Charlie Kirk. He says he's not doing well. It doesn't look very good. Trump is feeling how close is President Trump to Charlie Kirk?
He said, well, we just got an official report from Trump that says that Charlie Kirk is not looking good, guys. It's not looking good for him. Prayers up for his family, y'all. He could potentially pass away, man. He need all the prayers he can get, and we need all the subscribers we can get. So if you're new over here, subscribe to the channel, man. Subscribe. We on the road to 50K. We at 42,800 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Also take time to hit those three dots. Hit that thumbs up. That's how you hit the like button for the channel, man. This is crazy and sad at the same time. Prayers up for Charlie, guys.
Prior?
I'm sure he has, the RNC feels so long ago, even though it's just a year ago, but he does go to those kinds of events often. And, this event that he was at today was part of a national college tour. This was only his first stop, but there were going to be at least 14 colleges across the United States. Even more were going to be added. So he is someone that is very prominent, someone who shows up to rallies alongside candidates. And so he is someone who has become a big face of the Republican Party.
That is so very true. And what comes next? Are you going to try to speak to other lawmakers? Is that the hope for you?
Yeah, so I think for now, you're going to want to obviously get the reactions from lawmakers. But as the news settles, I think the next question is kind of what do we do about this? How do we stop this from happening? Again, it is something that just becomes all too common, whether it's the 2 assassination attempts against President Trump.
Tammy, I got to cut you off real quickly because we are getting new reporting in right now from the president about Charlie Kirk, as this was actually a fatal shooting coming down right now.
Fatal. He passed away, guys.
The president of the United States.
He passed away.
Even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States.
Oh, wow. He passed away, guys.
He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania, and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, family. Charlie,
wow.
You. So obviously an unfortunate finality to this as the shooting
Charlie Kirk has passed away, guys. Prayers for his wife and kids.
One more time of the suspect still very much at large, that according to the university right now. But President Trump saying on social media that Charlie Kirk, the conservative commentator, is dead. An unfortunate moment here in time.
He passed away, guys.
The political violence that continues to be heightened. Cami, I'm going to get your initial reaction because we are just following this dynamic situation. It was unfortunate. The video is making the rounds on social media, and President Trump saying Charlie Kirk is dead. What are you thinking right now?
First initial words, just absolute shock that this happened. This happened so quickly. It was something that was so unexpected, and at an event where, my colleagues had said that there are so many people excited to speak with Charlie Kirk, excited to have the opportunity to hear from him. And so I think that this is just mostly so shocking that this happened, especially, in a red state like Utah. Sometimes, not to politicize anything, but of course politics sometimes makes headway in it, but I think just shocking is the word to use.
All right, very good. I know you got to get back to work. Amy, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox, as this is an unfortunate tragedy unfolding in Orem, Utah. Thanks again. All right, thank you so much. All right, very great conversation there about this, as we are just continuing to learn the latest right now. Fox News posting this as well on social media, talking about the Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk has died at the age of 31 after being shot.
He has passed away, guys. Prayers up for his family. Wow.
Confirming that information, he leaves behind his wife and 2 children. So the unfortunate news that so many people hoping wouldn't come down today, the reality is now setting in, and we're hearing different reaction. Lawmakers that were very close with Charlie Kirk being in some of those circles. We heard Cami mentioned that there was a moment of prayer, a moment of silence on hand at the House of Representatives in that chamber of Congress to pray for him, to think about him in this moment. And now the news coming down. Again, just a live picture right there on the campus at the Utah Valley University. So following it very closely, the Utah Valley saying that the suspect is still very much at large. And as we're just getting some of these pictures right now,
has not been captured, guys. The suspect is at large
right now by the founder of the Wounded Blue, Randy Sutton. Randy, can you hear me here on?
Which completely contradicts what they were saying earlier about a suspect being in custody. We just heard them say that the suspect is very much at large. So nobody has been captured, guys. Wow, man. Charlie Kirk has passed away. Sad situation, man. Sad, sad, sad. One shot to the neck while doing a rally while speaking at a college campus in Utah, guys. Sad, man. Say he was shot from a building that was 200 feet away from where he was speaking, guys. He has passed away.
Incredibly tragic. We have seen death now in so many ways, so publicly, that it's almost shocking that to witness a murder on video It doesn't even shock the conscience anymore. It's truly amazing that we can witness the most despicable.
All right, Randy, I got to cut you off real quick. Stay with us, Randy. I have to cut you off because we're seeing Mike Johnson right now.
All right, Mike Johnson is finna speak, guys.
But I want to take us out here. So this is just a swearing in. So obviously,
Mike Johnson is about to speak, guys.
Immediately in the aftermath of it. But right now, just a swearing in. Let's listen in to see if we have any comments, though.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Congratulations.
How old's Mateo? Like, he'll be 5 at the end of this month. Yeah, it's great. His first job.
Yes. Yeah. He's a wild guy.
That's great. You can have a long career here and a short drive home.
That's right. Yeah. I hope so. Yeah.
Glad you're here. We'll try to get everybody under control here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so he got sworn in
right now. That was just a swearing in of the new member there of Congress, and obviously he may not even gotten the news as of yet that President Trump saying Charlie Kirk
passed away at 31 years old, guys.
After this fatal shooting at this event there on that college campus in Utah. Again, this is just a live picture right now. Randy, I hope you're still with us, but as we kind of shift back gears,
can we get the likes past 400, guys? Click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new.
Right now, what is going through law enforcement's mind? What are they doing?
So this is an exceedingly difficult situation for law enforcement. You have a large number of people in a relatively small area. You have a shooter who it appears. Now remember, all the information that we've gotten so far is really conjecture. I mean, first we heard there was a suspect in custody, then we heard he's not in custody. Now it appears that there was a rifle shot. I'm gonna say it's probably a long gun because of the distance that apparently was involved here. So if in fact there's a rifle involved, and where Charlie Kirk was hit is a vital organ. It was a kill shot with one shot.
One shot, guys.
And that skill level is something that's going to be examined here by investigators. They have to lock down the entire campus. There's thousands of people there. Did this individual already make the escape and get out of that area? Where they have to locate where the shot came from to find that trajectory. This is a massive investigation.
Yeah,
and this is clearly is a planned assassination.
And of course, so we're still learning, and obviously the investigation continues. The motive uncertain right now, unconfirmed at this point.
No suspect in custody. No suspect
including with
in custody.
News saying they had tickets to this event, but no security, no real metal detectors. So it's hard to kind of understand who exactly attended. Does that complicate things in your eyes? The fact that they really don't have a list of people who were in attendance, or they didn't go through metal detectors at all?
What will complicate the investigation is the mass amount of people that are there. Now, I think that at most of the events that Charlie Kirk has done, most of them that I have seen have been outdoor events where I don't think they have kept records of people that go there. There would be, sometimes there are ticket sales, but it doesn't mean that they would be keeping records of individuals who are there. Now, if this shooting took place from a building, if the sniper was ensconced in an office or a dormitory, this is key information. Where did the shooter post when before the shooting? How long was he there? There's so many unanswered questions here that this investigation, they're going to have to go through all of the video that was taken at this. There'll be hundreds of videos that were taken by cell phone cameras, which may possess a clue as to who the shooter is, where he was. But this all takes time to unravel. So this is a major investigation that's going to be very, very complicated.
Yeah, and they're still searching for him at this point. I do want to put up a tweet, a post on social media from the governor there in Utah. This coming in from Governor Cox saying, I just got off the phone with President Trump, working with the FBI, Utah law enforcement. We will bring justice.
Crazy,
the individual responsible for this tragedy. Abby and I are heartbroken. We are praying for Charlie's wife, daughter, and son. And since this is obviously a conservative commentator, a political commentator, does the FBI...
I just watched the video of him actually getting shot, guys, and let me tell y'all, it's not for the faint of heart. We cannot show it here on YouTube, but it is on social media, guys, other social media. Man, when I tell y'all, it is crazy, man. Wow, man. It looks like he was gone instantly. It looks like he was gone there, guys. Immediately fell over after he was hit by the bullet, man. Just, whoa, man. Oh, my God, y'all. Wow. Wow, man. When is this gonna end? Man, this is crazy, y'all. Wow.
That law enforcement is cast trying to find this individual, because it was a very cramped area, potentially, as we were talking about it, just some of the social media video coming down about where this shot may or may not have come to. How wide is the net? Are they concerned that they're still on campus? They fled? What's the perspective on that, Randy?
Yeah, and that's the crux of the situation is how do you contain the suspect? You know, and this is, you know, from the moment that the shot rang out, that's when law enforcement response, you know, becomes immediate. But what was the personnel, you know, situation there? How many police officers were in attendance? Did they have private security there? Were they able to contain the scene effectively? These are situations where, you know, if the individual was in a building somewhere, once that shot is fired, it in just minutes he could be elsewhere. He could be in a car. He could be off campus, and that, of course, will complicate this investigation even further.
Yeah, and that is obviously, it's very difficult, and the chaos, the scene immediately after, hundreds, thousands of people on hand for this there on campus. And you mentioned just the amount of social media, the amount of video on hand for schools that obviously get state funding, potentially get federal funding as well. Is there any regulation in your eyes that you can kind of point to that has some of these cameras, maybe not metal detectors going into some of these places, but are schools at all required to have video camera? Is that something they're going to be leaning on right away?
Well, they will absolutely be looking at any security footage that would be from cameras that are on campus. There are no requirements that I'm aware of from federal level.
Kirk has passed away at age 31, guys, from a fatal shot to the neck at a Utah college campus.
But we all
while
know
he was
that,
giving a
cameras
speech.
are everywhere.
Very sad situation, guys.
Of course, have had, you know, issues
Prayers
of violence
up
in the past. So the question is, on the campus of this, remember, this isn't a big university. This is a local college. What are their security arrangements, and what are the surveillance camera setups of that college? These are all part of the jurisdictional questions that have to be asked and examined very, very quickly.
And I want to ask you, because the suspect's still very much at large right now, a large manhunt right now underway, as of course we are kind of trying to follow it. The very latest is still that the suspect is at large, and potentially if they do apprehend an individual, how do they tie them to this scene if they don't have a gun, or if they aren't necessarily very distinguishable on camera? How do they tie an individual to a crime that was committed?
Through old-fashioned police work, that's how they're going to do it. There will be, you know, a massive amount of forensic investigation that takes place as well. You know, the location, where they do determine where the shooter was located, there will be, you know, that area will be examined by forensics. Will the weapon have been left there because the individual didn't want to be seen carrying it? That'll be crucial to identifying the individual. Will there have been any fingerprints? Will there be any DNA left at the scene? These are all questions that that are part of the investigation. Now, while this is still fresh, this is the meat and bones of police investigations. This is what law enforcement does.
Yeah, and
sad situation, guys. Prayers up for Charlie, man. Wow.
If they have every resource available to them now, both state, local, and federal.
All right, very good. Randy, thank you so much for breaking it down. I appreciate your time, your flexibility. Randy Sutton,
oh my God,
obviously the training is out there. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time here on Live Now.
Wow.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you so much. All right, let's continue on as we're just kind of taking in that scene of that Orem, Utah tragedy unfolded. Charlie Kirk, the conservative commentator, fatally shot here as he was
the shooter is still at large, guys.
Speaking about
no one in custody. Nobody in custody
on that campus at UVU. We're hearing different lawmakers, including Ron DeSantis, saying, "Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk." Casey and I are praying for his family. Charlie was a warrior for liberty, and his murder is a tragedy for our nation. Also, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, saying, "Heartbroken, outraged by the assassination of Charlie Kirk. He was an incredible husband and father, a great American. May he rest in eternal peace with our Lord." Let's take you right now out to different witnesses there on the ground, on the scene, still taking it all in. Let's listen into what they saw, what they heard today.
That was one thing that we all just instinctively did, and then we started running. But in my head, I was looking right at Charlie, and you could just see his neck just bleeding, and so we didn't know, and we just ran and got out of there. But it was a blessing to get out safe, and
Just how was it like when everything happened? I know you said that your sister was a little bit away from you. Was it scary not knowing what had happened?
Yeah, no, after I was like, I'm okay, I instantly went to my sister. I'm like, where's my sister? Started screaming for my sister, and we ran inside, and we were running up and down the halls, and it was just like, what is going on? Why isn't everyone running? Why are we getting out of here? But I had found my sister, and I just knew if I made sure she was safe that everything would be okay. So that was probably my one thought that was driving me then, but yeah.
Like, you still have the adrenaline still pumping? Like, have you been able to digest everything, or are you still just kind of, it's just so surreal?
Yeah, no, it's a little surreal. Like, especially then, it felt like a dream.
Guys, horrible situation.
And, but I've been called by multiple friends,
we are 40 likes away from 500, guys. Click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new.
Just a lot of support right away, and seeing all the other students around campus, praying with each other, just crying with each other, because it's gonna last for a minute, but yeah.
So you heard one shot, you said you might have seen some gun smoke, and just you saw him get hit. Just tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, for sure. So you hear the pop, and I just saw the blood gushing, and in my head I saw some smoke right there, and it wasn't very loud.
Just listening in there, eyewitnesses describing what they saw, what they heard on campus. And let's quickly shift gears as we enter the new hour, 5 o'clock on the East Coast, of course, 3 o'clock there in Orem, Utah. We're joined right now by Fox News' Connor Hansen. Thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. What's the latest? What can you tell us?
Well, Andy, unfortunately, just in the past few minutes, President Trump actually took to social media to announce that Charlie Kirk has passed away from that gunshot wound, also posting a bit of a tribute along with it. There's also been some confusion. The university initially saying the shooter had been in custody. Now we're not so sure that's the case.
No suspect in custody, guys.
After hearing a gunshot in the middle of campus, a crowd started running for safety. Witnesses described seeing the speaker, Charlie Kirk, being struck in the neck area and falling from his chair.
I just saw it hit him in the chest, and then all of a sudden just tons of blood gushing right out where his heart is, and then he like fell and slumped down, and everybody got down and was
exactly what it looked like, guys.
A spokesperson from Utah Valley University says the shot was fired from a building about 200 yards away, and that the campus closed for the rest of the day. Former Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz was at the event and witnessed the shooting.
As soon as that shot went out, he fell back into his left, and everybody hit the deck.
Charlie Kirk became a highly influential conservative activist and influencer after starting Turning Point USA. The group has a presence at thousands of universities and high schools and regularly holds campus events. Kirk is credited for helping President Trump win over young voters and win back the White House. Support for Kirk after the shooting has been bipartisan.
I mean, it's just another horrible act of political violence that has no place in our country.
And the White House Situation Room had been monitoring this since that shot was fired. And I'll just read you a piece of what President Trump had to say, calling Charlie Kirk legendary. He said, quote, "No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me. And now he is no longer with us. Melania, and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you." Back to you, Andy.
All right, thank you so much. A dark day there in Utah and so many of this political circles there, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. Connor Hansen, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, great reporting there as always. President Trump making that announcement that the conservative commentator Charlie Kirk fatally shot on the campus, as we heard the chaotic scene, showing some of those images there. So many different people, media on hand for this. We do have just a couple live pictures as well, as President Trump confirming this. Charlie Kirk dead, has died after the shooting. The suspect still very much at large. That is the most recent details that we can provide. We do have plenty of law enforcement. We do see SWAT vehicles on hand, a lockdown still in place. There are plenty of reporters there. Traffic moving around the campus. But you can see just the amount of force, the amount of people there on campus. You can see their state, like we heard from Randy Sutton, likely taking the lead on this at this point, but walking around. So we'll keep an eye on all of these, but different reaction from lawmakers. Charlie Kirk was a prominent face, a prominent voice within those
He passed away, guys. R.I.P.
Was so influential.
We need 11 more on that like button, man. Click the three dots, hit that thumbs up. This is everything they're giving on the passing of Charlie Kirk. He was 31 years old, guys.
Our hearts are break for the Kirk family, Turning Point USA, and all who had the privilege of knowing Charlie personally. He was a beacon of true leadership, rooted deeply in his faith as a Christian, his principles as a conservative, and his integrity as a man. Charlie was one of the brightest lights of our time, whose sole mission was to share the Word of God and to promote peace. Tragically, he was senselessly taken from us in cold blood. And so that coming in from lawmaker Nancy Mace on social media. We've heard from Ron DeSantis. We've heard from Secretary of State Marco Rubio. So plenty of outpouring of love, prayers, thoughts for the family there on the Republican side. And we are monitoring all the latest. John Fetterman, the Democrat, saying our family grieves for Charlie Kirk's family. We must collectively find a way forward during these polarized times. And as I spoke with Cami Mondo about that, the political violence, the temperature that needs to be lowered, obviously concern for that after two assassination attempts on then candidate Donald Trump. And coincidentally also, they are going to seat a jury in that second assassination attempt case for Ryan Ruth in Fort Pierce, Florida. That likely coming today, opening statements tomorrow. So obviously all of this transpiring very quickly. So just taking you back out, live pictures here on Live Now from Fox or Utah, different locations, different live shots for reporters there on the ground. Again, just another live picture as still at large right now, a manhunt, a massive one for the suspect following the shooting. They are saying just a single shot rang out on the campus as he was answering a question. Let's take you back out, though, to different lawmakers, or excuse me, different witnesses watching unfold what happened, including one of those people from Connor Hansen's story. Let's listen into this here on Live Now.
And decided to go watch Charlie Kirk between my classes, so.
My name's Paris. I just wanted to come and watch what I thought would be a civil conversation, and it turned completely different.
Prayers for Charlie Kirk's family, guys.
I looked down when it happened, but...
So basically, I heard a loud bang, which I figured a shot would be a little bit louder, but I just saw it hit him in the chest, and then all of a sudden just tons of blood gushing right out where his heart is, and then he like fell over and slumped down, and everybody got down and was screaming, and then we all ran.
She lied.
Can you describe just, did he appear?
She said he got hit in the chest. That's not accurate. He got hit in the neck. Nowhere close to where his heart was at, but there was a lot of blood. But it wasn't from his chest. It was from his neck.
I just grabbed her, and my boss was with us, which is her mom. She was like, run, and we finally got up and followed the crowd, and I just kept holding her. I don't even have my shoes on. I left my keys, like, and everyone's just like scared. Like it's traumatizing. Like, you know, it scares. Like, I don't even want to go to school tomorrow, you know.
Yeah,
so
I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm scared to go to school, but.
You heard the one shot. Were there multiple shots or?
I think just one shot straight into Charlie Kirk, and that was it. And I think they got him.
And did you see the person who fired the shot or anything like that?
No, I just knew that it came to the right of me and went just directly into his heart. I got a picture of him.
Did you what did you see as far as
I mean, going
was the crowd? How was the crowd reacting to him? I mean, he is somewhat known for being provocative, but what was going on beforehand? What was he talking about?
So the first student got up and they were talking about religion, Mormonism, and Christianity, and the second student to get up was talking about transgenderism and how gun violence has been very frequent with that community, and that is when it happened. Pretty ironic.
Yeah, right after, during, right on that topic.
Yeah, it's when he got shot in the heart.
It wasn't in the heart, lady.
You're joining us. What did you see?
Well, I was about to enter the building. I heard what I thought was a gunshot, and I hurried and took cover. And then I saw the students running out, and I saw her. She was panicking. I thought she was having a panic attack. So then I grabbed her, and we ran through the tunnel, and then just brought her to my car over here to get her to calm down. So, you know.
You?
I was watching from pretty close up, and I heard a pop, and I thought, no, that nobody's shooting firecrackers, right? This is the middle of the day. And then I watched a fountain of blood come out of the side of his neck, like
now
a water
she's
fountain.
telling the truth.
And it was surreal. Everyone dropped, and I was like, where's the gunman? I don't see any gunman. And then I dropped, because I'm just a very logical thinker like that. And so, yeah. And then a friend of mine drove me over here, just barely dropped me off, but he got a picture of the gunman, and it's pretty embarrassing. He got his pants pulled down as they took him down, and he sent me a picture. He was wearing garment bottoms, or what looked like white knee shorts. Just, you know, Utah.
Obviously a volatile situation, and what was the crowd's reaction when all of this happened?
White knee shorts.
Were up, you were standing there, you know, a little frozen, it sounds like. What was the crowd's reaction?
Everyone freaked out and screamed, and then after everyone was leaving, there was just a lot of confusion until the cops started making everyone leave, because people were still standing around and talking and in clusters, but the majority had run. And so, you know, after that, the police forced everyone in, and they started roping off the courtyard in yellow police tape. And then as we were walking through the hall, policemen with large
what?
The campus was being shut down.
I'll see with the police. Was there a police presence there from the beginning? You know, how did it unfold?
Yeah, so there definitely was a police presence there. I saw some on top of the balcony above, and some below. And of course, you have Kirk's own kind of bodyguards around. But I will definitely say we saw a lot more after the shooting, of course.
Of course. You said you may have seen something.
Well, I just saying Charlie Kirk is a hero.
He is. Absolutely. Pray for him. We don't know if he's still alive.
Everybody in there was very concerned for him. And all I can think of is Charlie, because
Charlie passed away, guys.
You know, a lot of people like him. He's a very courageous man.
What did you see? Can you just recap what you saw?
Yeah, I saw him just go over to the side. So everybody then dispersed and ran into the buildings or all over, but So I went toward Charlie, and then pretty soon they got somebody. The police arrested someone. They were dragging him all the way down. Older man, white hair, blue shirt. So.
All right, just listening in there, and of course, some of those images coming on social media, but according to the university, suspect is still at large.
The suspect is still at large, guys. They have no one in custody.
So obviously a lockdown still in place. Classes have been canceled. We are monitoring just this scene right now there on campus in Orem, Utah, just down the road from Salt Lake City, from the capital in Utah. We're hearing plenty of reaction right now, including from the president, who really broke the news that Charlie Kirk had died. And he also says, in honor of Charlie Kirk, a truly great American patriot, I am ordering all Americans.
So this is the man that they were saying at first was the suspect, guys. They were saying that this guy right here was the alleged gunman, the person that they had took into custody. But I guess they wound up letting him go because now they are saying there is no suspect. Basically, this man didn't do it. But as you see here, this is the guy that they had in custody, y'all. This old man right here, they had took him into custody and was saying that he was the one that did this. And now they are saying that there is no suspect. So I guess his alibi checked out and they basically let him go, guys. But this is him right here, the one that they were saying was the guy that did this. We might need to check on him and make sure he's still okay. Because now they're saying that there is no suspect in custody, guys. But once again, this is the guy that they were saying at first was the man that allegedly did this. I don't know his name or any of that. I just know this is what they're putting out on social media as the person that basically allegedly was the person that shot Charlie Kirk, or what's his name again? I forgot his name again. The one we're talking about. I forgot his name that fast. But yeah, Charlie Kirk. They saying that this is allegedly the guy that did it, but now they saying that it ain't. So we'll have to stay tuned, y'all.
Hundreds of people in their teens, in their 20s, and even potentially some parents, some members of the community there on the ground in that location. And coincidentally, he was also speaking about gun violence, speaking about recent shootings. So we're seeing this here on Live Now from Fox, as I believe soon enough, some of these flags will be lowered to half mast. I believe this one's the top of the White House right now as they're zooming in. So it will take place for the next several days. And we're also getting different sound in right now. Witnesses on the ground speaking about what they heard. Let's listen in.
Inside the glass walls next in the food court, and everybody just started running in and screaming. Those girls were crying. It was just insane. People were saying there was a shooter. Me and my friend, we were just like, holy cow, what is going on? We just ran out the back doors and just went back to school. And then everything got locked down. They're not letting kids leave right now. It's just crazy.
Now, when did you hear about Charlie Kirk coming to campus, and why did you want to see him?
My friend Derek, he actually sent me a reel on Instagram about Charlie Kirk coming about a week ago. And then my cousin recently was telling me about how he can get extra credit if you go and see Charlie Kirk at this event. And
that was from a local high school, correct?
Yeah, and it was from Skyridge, I know, was getting extra credit. And so I knew a bunch of like high schoolers that were going there, and everybody was coming down. And it was also Wolverine Wednesday, so there was pizza. It was just so many, it was just crazy.
Where were you? You heard the shot.
Wolverine Wednesday.
Where were you when you heard the shot?
I was inside UVU still. I was walking out the glass doors.
Okay, and when you walked out, you mentioned just people, I guess, in panic, screaming and running in all directions?
Yeah, it was just insane.
Okay. How are you processing what you saw? I mean, you've been walking around kind of milling about. There's a lot of students that are walking around milling about, but it's been a few hours now. How are you kind of recounting the day's events here and processing all of that internally?
I'm still shaken. It's hard to process because I'm just sitting in class and they're like, oh my gosh, he's announced dead. He's died. And it's just insane. And then we're looking at these videos because there's videos of him being shot. It's just... I feel like I'm still in shock right now. It's just insane.
What did you want to hear from Charlie? You were excited to hear him speak, right?
I don't know a lot about Charlie, but I was just interested in what other people were going to say to Charlie and what was going to happen. And something happened, which is just insane.
Anything else you want to share with us today? Thanks for a few minutes and glad you're okay.
I don't know. I just feel like it was something that totally could have been stopped. They would have maybe checked bags or done something to protect him. And because they had cops above on the walkways. They had cops above on the walkways who were stopping what I assume people from throwing stuff down towards him. So I wonder why there wasn't any level of security taken to stop people around, like in front of him or anything like that.
So you didn't see any true security measures other than maybe from afar, is that correct?
Yeah, it was just, there was not a lot of cops there. I've seen more cops at UVU during sporting events than right now, which is, this is the most amount of kids I've ever seen at UVU. Just insane.
Thanks for coming over and talking. I'm glad you're okay, and thanks for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And I hope obviously...
All right, just listening in there, a witness describing the scene and also describing the lack of security that was there on hand. He spoke to the Deseret News saying they had tickets for this event. They were attending it, but no one even took their tickets. No one scanned their tickets, and they also said there were no metal detectors and no real security on hand. So it's very interesting.
Ballin', this is most definitely crazy, y'all.
Following it right here on Live Now from Fox, a manhunt, a massive one, is underway right now there in Orem, Utah. Live picture one more time, as we haven't really heard from authorities, not in a press conference setting, not in a way that we can provide to you in full, live, raw, and unfiltered, but obviously this is the scene just outside of this campus as traffic is moving along, as obviously very difficult for this entire community, the conservative group, the political sphere that is Charlie Kirk in it. So obviously President Trump confirming that he has died. I also want to put up a post from the Washington Examiner. As the manhunt continues, they look for the suspect. Mia Cathell saying, according to a live feed of the Utah County police scanner, at the time of the Charlie Kirk shooting, an individual was spotted with a long rifle, wearing jeans, a black shirt, a black mask, and a black vest on top of the building on the far north side, just east of the library, wearing jeans, black shirt, black vest, and a speaker, said on this police scanner. And of course, Salt Lake City police also on hand for this, just down the road, taking the highway there to this scene. So a manhunt underway for this of what's going on, as potentially we will see also the flags be lowered to half-mast to honor Charlie Kirk. That was an order from the President of the United States, as he announced that they will be that way until Sunday at 6 o'clock. So we're just following it very closely, and it is gone quiet right now, but obviously investigations, the search for that individual still very much present, taking place. So just monitoring this here very closely. Different reaction continues to filter in. Nikki Haley saying, "We pray for Charlie that he may rest in God's arms. May God comfort his sweet family. May God heal our country. We need his grace now more than ever." So, of course, that was a presidential candidate herself going up against President Trump, putting up a valiant fight. So she's in the GOP circles there, as well as Charlie Kirk. Again, a live picture in Orem, Utah, one more time. And just to reset here, if you're just joining us on Live Now from Fox, a very dynamic situation as the Charlie Kirk, the conservative activist and close ally to President Trump, was shot and killed on Wednesday at that college in Utah at an event that acted to draw renewed attention to the threat of political violence across the country. Just monitoring this shot one more time here on Live Now from Fox. The death was announced on social media.
Prayers for Charlie Kirk, man. Unalived at the age of 31 due to a neck shot. One shot. No suspect in custody, guys.
Understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. The suspected shooter has not been arrested. The mayor said a person who was taken into custody by law enforcement at the university where Kirk was speaking was not the suspect. Videos posted on social media.
So that man I showed y'all was not the suspect, guys.
A handheld microphone while sitting under a white tent emblazoned with slogans like "The American Comeback" and "Prove Me Wrong." A single shot rang out, and Kirk can be seen reaching up with his right hand as a large volume of blood gushes from his neck. Of course, stunned spectators heard gasping, fled the scene. So, of course, public relations for Turning Point USA saying, confirming he was shot, praying for Charlie. So, still very dynamic, a fluid situation, but everyday life going on the street, just outside. So it's just hard. The of distance between this and what was going on.
Yeah, prayers for
Hundreds of
Charlie
people,
family,
almost
guys.
1,000
Put the
or
prayer
more
hands in the
attendance
chat.
for this event.
Prayer
I do
hands
believe
in
we
the
are seeing
chat.
now
Prayers
is
for
people
his wife
essentially
and
getting
kids,
on
guys.
top of the White House to lower
Unalived
these
at 31
flags
years
to
old,
half
man.
mast to honor Charlie Kirk. So we're just going to stick with this shot here briefly as not a ton of other information. We're still waiting on a press conference from law enforcement, waiting on an update of some kind from lawmakers there in Utah or beyond. We were hearing that Speaker Mike Johnson held a moment of silence, a moment of prayer to honor this, and of course, very fluid. So many people are close
Most
allies,
definitely
close
pray
friends
for the
of
man
Charlie Kirk
family,
in
y'all.
Washington, D.C. So
Even if you didn't like the
United
man,
States flag now
his
taking
family
place
most
atop the
definitely
White House.
deserves prayers, guys. Prayers for Charlie, man. Yeah, I ain't gonna cap, man. Very sad situation that took place here, man. Very, very sad, man. It is sad. He was unalived by one shot to the neck from a gunman that they still haven't captured, y'all.
I just wanted to give that a little bit of moment to breathe as a somber
31 years old
on this September the 10th, as the flags being lowered to half mast there in our nation's capital by the order of the President of the United States. So still following this, and we're still trying to grasp, trying to understand what happened as police, the investigation continues for that suspect. Let's take you right now out to other witnesses of what they saw.
More witnesses come forward, guys.
Members of the community alike coming to hear what he has to say, as he has spoken and it has resonated so much with the youth in the Republican Party and beyond. Let's take you out to some more witnesses there in Orem, Utah.
I'm guessing you were at the event as well?
Yes.
Where were you at in relation to the stage?
I was about ready to go in at the front doors when I heard the gunshot. So I tucked away under because I'm a retired police officer.
Okay.
So I was worried about the people being trampled, and then the students started rushing out. And that's when I grabbed two students. One was about ready to pass out. Took her, one of the guys carried him, we carried him and went through the tunnel. And then I recognized the guy that was arrested as George Zim. I went with Charlie Kirk's group on Turning Point USA last year. He rode in the front seat of the guy ahead of me. So I recognized him as the one they arrested. So I don't know if he's the shooter, but that is the one they arrested.
So you weren't actually in the event yet? You said you were at the doors
right
or at the gate?
When I heard the gunshot, and then I tucked around the corner, and then that's when I saw the crowd racing out, and that's when I tried to rescue the two students that...
Could you tell where the gunshot came from?
I just looked up. It sounded like it was above, but with gunshots it could echo.
Sure.
So I just remember looking up and going, that sounds like a gunshot. That's a gunshot. And then I saw all the kids running out. And then that's when I took cover. And then I saw that.
You said you were a
they said she making stuff up.
Who were you with?
Unified Police.
For how long?
20 years.
Were you in the field? What was your role there?
Yeah, I was 4.5 years in the jail, 4.5 years in court, 10 years on the road.
Wow.
I was a canine officer, a detective, and a school resource officer. I also taught active shooters.
So you've done quite a bit. That's what you're telling me. Would any of that, I would imagine, would that kick in today for you?
Yeah, I definitely. I took cover, and then my first response was to protect the kids, the students, because I was worried about them being trampled.
Sure.
And so when the one girl was almost about to pass out, I thought she was going to get trampled, so I grabbed her, and then I grabbed the other one and put her in a place area underneath the tunnel over here to protect her from any more gunshots.
What's your thoughts on this?
I don't, I know George from several events I've been to. He always struck me as a little bit odd. I know he's been banned from church property and the Herberts and Governor Cox. But, he's a different guy. I'm not saying he's the shooter, but I recognize him as being the guy that was arrested. So, yeah.
So besides George, though, if George is not the shooter, your thoughts on it just in general, of just you're coming to this event to hear and something like this happens? And
well, based on my experience with shooters, the way I was described where it hit his heart and then blasted out this way, it would seem that it would have been shot from below if it shot out this way. I didn't actually start the shot. So it would be pretty hard
listening to our station. We've been on air with this since it happened. They're saying he's at the hospital in critical condition right now. That's the last that I've heard from this. When you look across...
If you're watching and not subscribed, please subscribe, guys. We are like 50 subscribers away from having 43K subscribers. Every subscriber counts. So if you're not subscribed, man, simply press that subscribe button. Shout out to everybody that hit that like button. Subscribe, y'all. Help us get to 43K, you know, if you don't mind, man. This is everything they know and putting out about Charlie Kirk. And basically him meeting his demise at 31 years old.
The girl I interviewed said it was a direct hit to the heart, and she saw it. So I called the police, let them know, got their names, so that we have the witnesses, and kept them here until he said we could go. And then right now, see, that's going to be a long. We have so many people, 6,000 people. So it's going to be a big emergency.
Okay. Anything else? I appreciate your time.
Oh, I just want to say Charlie Kirk's a hero, and praying for his family.
All right, just listening in there as people are kind of shocked by the news. Of course, that all coming down prior to the announcement, the confirmation from President Trump that Charlie Kirk has passed away, the conservative commentator, fatally shot at this event, attended by hundreds of people there on that campus. As we're getting live pictures right now, the United States flag being flown at half-mast atop the White House. This will be happening until Sunday. Also, live picture there in Utah. So we're just bouncing around to all of this. And also there in Phoenix, Arizona, the headquarters of Turning Point USA. So obviously the co-founder of that, Charlie Kirk there, and we see different people potentially going to speak about this and his influence in just different points, different parts of the political spectrum on the right side, the GOP, but also just his influence amongst other people. So let's take you right now. I want to see if we have any sound from someone there in Phoenix talking about his influence at Turning Point, what it meant for them. Let's listen in.
For a lot of reasons. I'm gonna get emotional, so give me a second.
You brought flowers out here.
Yeah.
You want to talk about...
Because I have a young man who's in college right now, and I know how important Charlie Kirk was to this generation, and I just think it's important that we stop violence, and some of us need to speak up and come out of the shadows right now, because some of us have been quiet for a long time. And Charlie was brave, and he spoke up for all of us who couldn't speak. I'm sorry, I'm just very emotional about it, because I just heard he passed. So, we just live in a very strange society right now, and I just think it's very important that those of us who have different views from most of you who are standing here right now understand that there are those of us who don't agree. And Charlie Kirk was one who would get up and speak for us, and he just had a very strong voice, and he was very calm in his response to people, and especially this generation where a lot of kids who have different views than the mainstream media has, and other people who don't agree have felt like they couldn't say anything. So he was able to speak for us, and especially for young men. And we just live in a society that does not support conservative views and the role of family and having children and doing things the way that we were brought up to believe things were supposed to be. And so I don't know what else to say.
As a parent, what do you think Erica and his the rest of his family is?
Well, I'm sure they're devastated right now. I can't imagine. They had, I'm sure they knew the risks that they were making every time he spoke, but they chose to do it when the rest of us don't do it. And so I'm just humbled by his family. I'm humbled by him and the way he chose to live his life. So,
what kind of an impact do you think he had, especially on young conservatives?
I think it made them feel more empowered because they could have a voice, where sometimes having that voice nowadays is not honored. And I mean, obviously you can tell that he was killed for it. So the fact that he spoke up when others don't feel like they can, so this is the way of silencing that voice, and it's just not right. It's not right. And I think what's going to happen now is there are going to be a lot of young men and young women who have these views that Charlie had that are probably going to start speaking up and start living a little more boldly. So I think, if anything, this is probably going to bring more young men who have been quiet, maybe, who didn't feel like they could speak, and even young women. They'll have the encouragement and the empowerment now to speak up, because I'm standing here in front of all these cameras with all these, and I would never do this normally to speak, but it's just so important to me as having a young man that our voices be heard now.
Can you say your name again, please?
Andrea Serrano.
How do you spell your last name?
Serrano.
Andrea, what made you want to come down?
Just because of my son, to be honest with you, because of how he spoke up for our young men, and my son's in college, and these views, he believes in these views as well, and it gave him a voice to say, yeah, that what he was learning in high school and in some colleges right now is not the view that he had, and it just empowered those young men. And so my son, I'm just grateful for his life, for Charlie.
This happened on a college campus. Your son's in college.
Yeah, I worry about it, but we can't live in fear. We have to be able to get up like I am doing right now, and we have to be able to speak. We have to say what we believe, because what they want us to do is not say anything, and that's just not the way life is. We're here in America. We have free speech. We can say what we believe, and we shouldn't be afraid to say it. We should be able to have the strength and be able to, otherwise we're not going to have a free country. We're not going to be able to do anything, which is exactly what they want. So.
Your name again?
Andrea Serrano.
I spell it just...
Serrano.
Okay, thanks.
We really have it this time. Thank you.
Just listening in there as they're continuing to gather the sound outside of the Turning Point USA, the headquarters in Phoenix, Arizona. So you see kind of them zooming in on this scene as they talked about the empowerment that Charlie Kirk brought to so many people that potentially it felt like just a number, just a statistic. So obviously a very dark day there in Utah and beyond. A live picture right now in Orem, Utah, as we're still watching a manhunt underway. A lockdown is in place there at the Utah Valley University following this unfortunate incident. So just a few live pictures, including in obviously Arizona Turning Point headquarters, in Washington, D.C. at the White House, as flags being flown now at half staff atop that building, that federal building, as you will see that soon be lowered in other locations, other regions, other communities. Talking about this, President Trump confirming the most recent, and obviously this goes beyond just the United States, as different world leaders, different dignitaries are speaking out about this political violence, including the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, on social media, commenting Charlie Kirk was murdered for speaking truth and defending freedom. A lion-hearted friend of Israel, he fought the lies and stood tall for Judeo-Christian civilization. I spoke with him only 2 weeks ago, invited him to Israel. Sadly, that visit will not take place. We lost an incredible human being. His boundless pride in America, his valiant belief in free speech will leave a lasting impact. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Also coming in, Donald Trump. I love you, brother. You gave so many people the courage to speak up, and we will never.
Shout out to Only One Creek for getting that membership. Appreciate you.
His father, also Speaker Mike Johnson, saying, I'm utterly devastated. Charlie was a close friend and confidant. He will be sorely missed by so many. Every political leader must loudly and clearly decry the...
All right, we are now 19 subscribers away from 43K. Anybody that's in the building that hasn't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Help us reach that 43K if you don't mind. We are 19 subscribers away. Hit that subscribe button and we will hit 43K, guys.
And their two beloved children that he leaves behind, they feel it more keenly than
already,
any of
David.
us can.
Thank you
and
for
our first duty is to pray both for his soul and for their peace. And as I was mentioned, we heard from Speaker Mike Johnson. He held a moment of silence, a moment of prayer on the floor there at the House of Representatives. Let's take you out to this quick sound. This was prior to the initial confirmation, as they were just getting in those reports of the shooting that ultimately turned fatal. Let's listen in.
We just want to make a brief statement here, and I'm going to go and ask my colleagues to join me in a moment of silence for our dear friend Charlie Kirk. We ask everyone to pray for him and his family. I'm just going to state the obvious here. This is detestable what's happened. Political violence has become all too common in American society, and this is not who we are. It violates the core principles of our country, our Judeo-Christian heritage, our civil society, our American way of life, and it must stop. We need every political figure, we need everyone who has a platform to say this loudly and clearly. We can settle disagreements and disputes in a civil manner, and political violence must be called out, and it has to stop. Again, we ask for prayer. I'm going to go lead the chamber here in a moment of silence, and we hope for the best for Charlie. Thank you.
Just listening in there, that was Speaker Mike Johnson holding that moment of silence, that moment of prayer, and that was before President Trump confirming the news that Charlie Kirk was fatally shot.
We need 8 more subscribers, guys, to hit 43K. 8 more, y'all. Subscribe to the channel if you don't mind.
To different members of that community, to different students there as well. So, of course, we do have a couple pictures there in Washington, D.C. of the White House, as Charlie Kirk was a close ally of the president. So you can see this here on Live Now from Fox, as talking about this, honoring the memory of Charlie Kirk. A live picture.
One more
right there
subscriber, we'll be at 43K.
Also, you can see the giant flags, the big American flags there.
Shout out to everybody that subscribed. We just hit 43K. Shout out to everybody that subscribed. We just hit 43K, guys. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Shout out to all the new subscribers as well as the old subscribers, man. Let me let y'all know. Okay, so right now, how it's looking, guys. Charlie Kirk, unalive, 1 shot to the neck, y'all, at a Utah university where he was giving a speech. They said that he was basically shot as he was giving his commentary or his views on the transgender shooting that took place in Minnesota. Right when he began to speak on it, he was shot in the neck and basically fell to the ground, guys. They rushed him to the hospital where he did not survive. He passed away at the age of 31. They basically took in the old guy as a suspect, wound up releasing him, which means that the suspect is still at large at this time. We are now waiting for official word from the White House or one of the representatives, basically to come out and give a speech or a press conference so we can know exactly what it is that they know and exactly what it is that they do not know, guys. That's all we have so far as what went on with Charlie Kirk, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed the live stream. We just hit 43K. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. If they do go live with a press conference, I will most definitely go live again and bring y'all all the updates that I see and everything that I know. I appreciate each and every one of y'all that's in the building. Shout out to Karen for that gift. I most definitely appreciate you. Shout out to my moderators for making sure that the live stream runs smooth, guys. Once again, when they come live with a press conference, we will most definitely be back. But until then, y'all stay safe, man. It's a crazy world out here. Prayers for Charlie, as well as his family. Even if you don't like the man, his family most definitely deserves those prayers. So until I see y'all again, y'all stay safe. To my members, moderators, and subscribers who already watch this channel, y'all already know how this go. Sidewalk Gang, checking out. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Turn your notification bells on to all. This is Everything News, where we most definitely cover everything news. I'll holler at y'all. Y'all be good.